Hey there, folks. Ever cracked open a cold one and thought, I bet I could make this? Well, guess what? You absolutely can. Homebrewing is like cooking, but instead of dinner, you get delicious ice-cold beer. There's a real satisfaction that comes from transforming simple ingredients into a beverage you crafted yourself. It's like alchemy, but with hops and barley instead of magical potions. Plus, you get to choose exactly what goes in, so you can experiment with different flavors and create your own signature brews. So, are you ready to embark on this exciting journey? Let's dive in. Before we fire up the kettle, let's gather our gear. Don't worry, you don't need a fancy lab or expensive equipment to get started. Here's a rundown of the essentials. A large pot, at least 3 gallons, which is our brewing vessel. A fermenter, where the magic happens. A food-grade plastic bucket works great. An airlock, which lets CO2 escape during fermentation and keeps nasty stuff out. Bottles for storing your finished beer. A bottle capper to seal those bottles tight. Now for the ingredients. We'll keep it simple for your first batch malt extract, which provides the sugars that yeast will turn into alcohol. Hops, these add bitterness, aroma, and flavor. Yeast, the tiny workhorse that makes it all happen. And of course, water, good old H2O is the base of our beer. That's it. With these tools and ingredients, you're well on your way to brewing greatness. Alright, let's get brewing. This might seem like a lot of steps, but trust me, it's easier than it looks. Step 1. Sanitation is key. Clean and sanitize everything that will touch your beer. We don't want any unwanted flavors ruining our masterpiece. Step 2. The mash. We're using malt extract, so we can skip the traditional mashing process. Just heat up your water to about 150 degrees Fahrenheit or 65 degrees Celsius. Step 3. Adding the malt extract. Stir in your malt extract until it's fully dissolved. This sugary solution is called wort. Step 4. The boil. Crank up the heat and bring the wort to a boil. This is where we add the hops. Step 5. Hopping schedule. Add hops at different times during the boil for bitterness, flavor, and aroma. Your recipe will tell you when and how much to add. Step 6. Cooling down. After the boil, we need to cool the wort down quickly before adding yeast. A cold water bath does the trick. Step 7. Pitching the yeast. Once the wort is cool, sprinkle your yeast into the fermenter and seal it up with the airlock. Step 8. Fermentation. Now we wait. Let the yeast do its thing for about 2 weeks in a cool, dark place. You'll see bubbles in the airlock. That's the sound of deliciousness in the making. Step 9. Bottling. After fermentation, it's time to bottle your beer. Add a little bit of priming sugar to each bottle for carbonation. Step 10. Conditioning. Store your bottled beer at room temperature for a couple of weeks to let it carbonate and develop its flavors. And there you have it. You've brewed your very own beer. Time to crack open a bottle and savor the fruits of your labor. Section 4. Avoiding common pitfalls. Even seasoned brewers make mistakes sometimes. Here are a few common ones to avoid. Poor sanitation. Remember, cleanliness is crucial. Sanitize everything thoroughly to prevent infections that can ruin your beer. Incorrect temperatures. Pay close attention to temperatures during mashing, boiling, and fermentation. Too hot or too cold can affect the final product. Oxidation. Oxygen is the enemy of beer. Limit exposure to air, especially after fermentation. Rushing the process. Patience is key in brewing. Don't rush fermentation or conditioning. By avoiding these common mistakes, you'll increase your chances of brewing a delicious and satisfying beer. Section 5. Cheers to homemade beer! Congratulations, you've joined the ranks of homebrewers. Not only do you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor, but you also get the satisfaction of creating something truly unique. Experiment with different ingredients, tweak your process, and don't be afraid to get creative. The world of homebrewing is vast and full of possibilities, so go forth, brew boldly, and always remember to enjoy the journey. Cheers!